Okay. All right. Now,
It's
before we get
fascinating.
started, uh,
Okay.
can I record this and use you for clickbait? Yeah.
Do you want me to do a pog face?
That's perfect. Thank you. Okay, just like Freddy
Okay, are you
Fazbear.
ready?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Here we have the Five Nights at Freddy's lore as I understand it, but I don't fully understand it. Okay. So it's the Five Nights at Freddy's lore as I understand it, but I do not have a solid grasp on the lore as much as it has taken over my sanity.
This should be great.
Now, yes, for clarification, the Fazbear Frights books are not canon, but they give us lots and lots of information that can help us understand the games and will be brought up throughout this presentation.
That
So
is
it's important to
true.
know that they exist.
That is true.
Now, we have to meet the cast. We have Henry Emily and William Afton, who are business partners. They're engineers and they make really cool animatronics. And they have some children. Henry has a daughter named Charlotte, and William Afton has 3 kids. There's Elizabeth, the crying child whose name may or may not be Evan. We don't fully know. We got that name through sketchy memes, but a lot of people are pretty solid on calling him Evan. I will refer to him as the crying child. And then his oldest son is Michael.
They do be having some
So,
children.
yeah, he has 3 of them with a woman, because that's how biology works, but we don't know anything about.
She may
So,
be Ballora. We don't know.
could be, that's not in the presentation. Right. So, to start off, we have Fredbear's Family Diner, and it's set up a bit like this. And they are a very small family-owned business, and they hire Henry and William to make them some cool animatronics, as you can see on the stage over there. But the thing is, they're dangerous. They can move around like robots and regular animatronics, as we know, but you can also go inside of them and walk around yourself. So, like how at Chuck E. Cheese, there's the animatronics on stage, but then they come out in a fabric suit later. This, instead, it's all the same thing. So
Whoa,
all
that
the
sounds really
wires are
cool.
still, yeah, but it's dangerous because all the wires are still in there in the metal and the electronics don't work. What makes it so dangerous is that if like any water or vapor or even if you breathe on it, it could make it lock up and go back into animatronic mode instead of suit mode and stab you,
That sounds like it
which
would
is
be very
unsafe.
painful.
It's so painful. Now, so Henry and William are like, you know what? Maybe we'll buy this company from this small business and create Fazbear Entertainment. They're like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. So that's what they do. And the small family business, they're kind of still involved because it's like their company and everything, but they're not really in it anymore. It's all Henry um and William. And so they opened 2 more locations, one with the more classic characters that we know. They look kind of like them, but not from the first game. This is a different restaurant. They opened
The
2 more locations.
unwithered animatronic.
Exactly. But I gotta, yeah. And so, but still, the Fredbear Diner is still open, and the kids, because we don't know what's up with the mom, they're always going to work with William. And the thing is, the crying child is so scared of these animatronics. So scared, but he's surrounded by them all the time. And his brother thinks it's so funny. Michael's like, oh, ha ha ha, I'm gonna pop out and scare this kid.
That doesn't
And it's
sound like a good
terrible.
brother.
I know, well, he gets even worse. Because in 1983, him and his friends pick up the younger brother and put him in the animatronic's mouth. Because they're like, oh, he's so scared. Why don't you give him a little kiss? But then he's wiggling around and he's crying. So there's lots of movement and there's water getting on the spring locks and everything. So his jaw closes and the child's head is gone. His brother is dead.
That's awful.
And it's terrible.
That's awful.
I know.
You
And
would
you know
never
who
put
else also?
me in the mouth of an animatronic and bite my head off and have it bite my head off, would you?
You might have repressed the memories from when we were at Chuck E. Cheese. Cause you could call me a regular Michael Afton. But anyway,
You were putting me in the mouth of the Chuck E. Cheese?
that's besides the point. This is about the Aftons, not about us. But you know who else was really crushed about this and also thought it was awful?
Who?
William Afton, their father.
I never would have
His
guessed.
youngest son. Yeah. So he gets consumed by the idea of these animatronics being able to kill, and also he believes, which we also believe, that the soul of the crying child has entered the animatronic suit of Golden Fredbear. His name's just Fredbear.
That's spooky.
But he's yellow. Yeah. And so William is totally encapsulated by this idea. And so that location closes. Sorry.
What?
There's no more Fredbear's Family Diner, and the family who owned it, they completely back out. They're like, ooh, kids are dead. No thanks. And so they're gone. They're probably happy somewhere with their little exit money. But the second and third location are still open, and they still use these unsafe suits for a little bit, until they're like, no, these are too unsafe. We can't use these anymore. So they seal them off in these secret rooms where there's no cameras. These rooms were used where you could go in if, like, you were out in the party and suddenly it started to lock up. You could run into these rooms and, like, secretly die and be in pain in there and not scare the kids. So they just put the suits in there and sealed it off, just locked the doors.
That sounds smart. You don't want to scare the kids when you're dying.
You really don't. So the third location is also a rental service where you can, you can rent out these to bring to your house. You can bring the animatronics home. And it's Circus Baby's Pizza World is what it's called. But really what this was William Afton trying so hard to find a way to really encase the souls of children who might die the way his youngest son did, and test on that, and test on more effective ways to kill children, because he found it.
Why would he do that?
He got so obsessed with the way his son died that he wanted to find better ways to kill the children and find better ways to keep their souls. And
Wow.
Henry was kind of like, whoa, man, this is a bit scary. You're concerning me. And guess what? His daughter Elizabeth gets too close to these robots her father designed specifically to lure kids in and kill them, and she died.
No.
And it's terrible.
No.
And her soul is now possessing Circus Baby.
That's so
Rest in
sad.
peace, Elizabeth.
That's so
Yeah.
sad.
She just wanted ice cream. And so Henry is like, you're out of here, William. Go. You are too dangerous. You've killed your own child at this point. Get out of here. And William is not happy. So now Circus Baby rental service is just a rental service. You can't go to that place anymore. because obviously this child died there, but you can still rent out the animatronics and everything if you want. But you're not gonna believe this.
Oh no, what happened?
You're not gonna believe this, but I'll keep going. I'll keep going, even though you're gonna be so surprised. So Henry, he saw the path that William was on before all this. So he specifically built, as you can see in the little present, the puppet that is meant to protect children. Why else would he make this unless he saw something suspicious going on? So he made that to protect the children from whatever William was bringing.
That's smart.
Whatever they
That's
were
a
doing.
smart idea.
Yeah, it is. But his daughter, good old Charlotte Emily, she got locked out on this rainy night. And it's dreadful.
Oh,
So the
no.
puppet, he goes outside, out in the rain, but at the end of the day, the puppet is an animatronic. All wires and stuff, you can't bring that out in the rain.
You can't.
So it's breaking down, but it still makes its way over to Charlotte and holds her and protects her in the rain, even though she's already dead.
Oh no.
She's already dead. Somehow she died.
No.
And so her soul goes into the security puppet. And from a mini game, we see William Afton driving in his purple car, gets out and kills Charlotte.
He killed his best friend's daughter?
I told you you weren't gonna believe it. I told you. But that's the thing. He was so mad at Henry. He was like, I was just getting on the track to figure out how to best kill children, and you fire me? I'm gonna kill your daughter. So he did. And he's on the run from this point. But in a very distant Five Nights at Freddy's game, Pizzeria Simulator, there's a mini game called Later That Night. Now first I'll just present you the facts of what this mini game is, and then I'll tell you what I feel about it. We see this guy with this car. He's driving around and it's raining.
It is raining.
He goes up to a bar. They say, you can't be here. Don't make this harder than it has to be. He goes to this house where this person says, leave him alone tonight. He had a rough day. Then he goes up to that door. He bangs on it. No one answers. He's yelling. He goes outside in the rain and he sees that window to the bedroom is broken and there's footprints. And he said he ran off to that place again. He'll be sorry when he gets back. Now, what do we know? We know that in that past minigame, William had a purple car.
But in
What
that
tint is this car here?
But in that minigame, he's purple, and in this one, he's orange.
I'm glad you said that, because look at this next thing that's about to pop up. William often wears, which I'll point out how he gets it, he wears the disregarded spring Bonnie suit.
It's orange!
To kill these
Oh
children.
my god, it's orange!
Well, guess what? This house looks a whole lot like the one in Five Nights at Freddy's 4,
Oh my god.
which is highly believed to either be one of the Afton sons having nightmares. It's more commonly believed that it's the crying child having nightmares and seeing all these animatronics in his house. But there can be a case for it to be Michael, but I don't think it is. And so going off of that, lots of people think this person sitting in this chair here is Michael, saying, hey, don't bother the crying child right now. He had a rough day from all this, from being at the thing. But why would he say that if he's the one doing the bullying? He's bringing the hard days. And also, this is called Later That Night. And it's raining, so we can believe that this is right after, during that same rainy night, that William killed Charlotte.
That would make sense.
And can that little tiny, weak, crying child break open a window? No. William could. So I think this is the wife we know nothing about saying leave him alone. And also, you might notice, I'll make it more clear for you, these footprints. They don't seem to come from anywhere. They don't seem to go anywhere. And it has 3 toes.
Wow.
What animatronic in our Five Nights at Freddy's mind, what animatronic shows up and leaves without walking and has 3 toes?
I don't know. Could you tell me?
Golden
Could you tell me?
Freddy. Golden Freddy. And who possesses Golden Freddy? Do you remember? Do you remember who I told you?
I'm blanking.
The crying child.
Oh my god.
He appeared outside of his brother's window, just like he appears in the first game and other games. When he appears, he just appears and disappears, and he appears and says, "It's me, it's me." He's trying to tell his brother, "It's me, I'm possessing the suit." And so Michael is just filled with grief. And so he's leaving, maybe he's going back to the scene of the crime, or maybe this mound over here, it's an unmarked grave, and the parents covered up the murder to protect the group of kids who were bullying this little kid. Maybe he's going over there to be like, "I'm so sorry, brother. I'm sorry I killed you." That's what I think.
That makes a lot of sense.
I'm glad you think so. Now, let's go back to this other location. The first one that opened up outside of Fazbear's family diner. These animatronics, they start to smell bad. They're oozing weird stuff, and they stank. And guess why?
Why?
William Afton killed 5 children and stuffed them in these suits to rot.
Oh my god.
And how did he do this? He used his old security clearance, which we can assume is what this yellow thing is on him.
Oh.
It could be a security badge.
It could also be a piece of toast.
It could. Maybe he used his toast powers to get in. We don't know. But he got in regardless. To go and get the locked up suits from the locked up safe rooms, to walk around being like, "Hey kids, I'm one of the Freddy Fazbear friends. Come with me. I'll find your dog." But no. He stuffed them in the suits to see if they could be possessed.
And could they?
And, well, we'll get to that. And so, Fazbear Entertainment, they were just like, "Oh, let's throw these away and start over. Let's get some new animatronics." But, to get back to your question, yes, Charlotte Emily, who is possessing the marionette, put the souls of these kids into the suits to protect them.
Wow.
To be like, "I'm sorry you died this traumatic death. I'll keep you safe." So these animatronics are in fact possessed. And there's this one kid that William killed, whose name is Cassidy. And she goes on to also possess the Golden Freddy suit alongside the crying child.
Both of them?
They're both in him. And maybe that's why they don't really move around, because they don't know who's controlling what. So they just sit there talking to each other, having a good time. So now we get to the new animatronics that they made, right? Because the other ones were stinky and had dying kids in them. So they can walk around and they can talk. Obviously Henry was like, "Somehow this man broke in and got the suits, so I'm gonna make these animatronics be able to scan people's faces and see what's going on, so we know if William comes in here." But because of that, sometimes their system gets a bit messed up. And so they just randomly start attacking adults, thinking they're some sort of predator.
That's not
Which is
okay.
not very good. No, it's not very good. But this brings us to what all of you may know. In 1987, there's an investigation happening from these animatronics' bad behaviors towards adults, because they're getting kind of violent, and the 5 missing children that William killed in his first round. And so Jeremy Fitzgerald, who we play in prequel, he's a night guard, and they're like, "We're gonna put you on the day shift while this investigation is going on." just for this one last day. And guess what?
What happened?
One of the animatronics bit one of these people in the head, tore out their frontal lobe, and they survived for a good amount of time in the hospital before they died.
Oh my god.
But they unfortunately did pass away. And so obviously this location closes down, and it's believed that William is arrested around this time, that they catch him. But then he gets out of jail later. So we don't really know. So they open another location, which we know as the first Five Nights at Freddy's game. They won't walk and talk anymore, but people still go missing. Kids are still going missing, and these animatronics are coming after you. And so because of these missing kids, it closed down again, because it's under investigation of what's going on.
Wow.
Now, they open a third location, because they don't want to be closed down. So, they opened it up. No, William was not arrested. That's not what the police car was. They're after William specifically. So they're looking for William. They're investigating him specifically.
So
they don't have any
concrete
evidence.
They're looking for him, but
they're
he's
looking
not
for
arrested.
specifically William. My apologies for confusing you. I apologize. So they open a third location because obviously they're a money-hungry corporation. They don't want to stay closed for long. But it kind of immediately closes down. And so William sees this as his opportunity. He can go in and get rid of all the evidence to his name, because the dying kids are still in them suits. So he goes into this building and takes all of them apart. He's destroying the evidence. But in doing so, souls of these children are released from the suits, and they chase him into this back room. So he's running, he's heavy breathing, he's sweating, and he gets into the suit that he used to kill the children in. And he's standing there, he's laughing, panting, sweating. And it was also,
right?
Well, it's also been raining. So there's a lot of moisture, there's a lot of movement, which activates spring locks. And William is dead. His reign of terror is over.
Yay, he won't hurt anyone ever again.
He's gone. He's out of the playing field. And in the good ending of one of the games, Charlotte sets the souls free from the past animatronics. So everyone's good and happy. There's nothing to worry about.
Everything is fixed.
What?
Everything got fixed.
Yeah, when you think about it. Then again, if you think about it some more, no. Because this is like 50 years in the future, I think. There are some people who are more set in the timeline and the dates and everything, but I think it's around 50 years.
I thought it was 30. I might be misremembering. But...
Who knows? All that is important is that by the time this location, Fazbear Frights, opens, the investigations and crimes and everything is a thing of the past. It's folklore, the stories are mixed up, no one knows exactly what happened. All they know is that these locations kept opening up and closing because of different types of investigations, allegations, and missing children. And so this is a location set up to really bank on that. And it's like a haunted house. And they pride themselves on getting authentic stuff from the restaurants.
That sounds really fun.
What? Yeah. But here's the thing. They say on the phone is like, guess what? We found something really authentic hidden in one of the back rooms.
What was it?
Of this closed location. They found William Afton's rotting corpse.
No!
And brought him here.
Don't do it!
And he's walking around. Now what's important to note is that his jump scare in this had been widely ridiculed in the past for being the most passive jump scare.
Not
and isn't
scary.
like
Not
and he
scary.
doesn't jump at you. He's not coming to kill you. It's more of an approach in looking you up and down. But just save that for later.
Okay.
But William is here. He's alive, and he's moving around. He's not happy that he's dead and possessed by what he was so consumed by before. And so eventually this burns down. They don't know how it burned down. They don't think it's foul play, but it burns down, and people are like, oh, okay. But stuff was sold in a public auction that could be salvaged, meaning they got William out of there.
He survived the fire?
He survived the fire. We thought he was dead once more, but he survived. Now, remember when I told you to put that aside? To put the William just approaches you as a jump scare aside?
What you said
Let's bring that
a few seconds ago, yes?
Yeah, let's bring that back to the front of your mind. Because who do we play as in these games to make William want to just approach you and look you up and down?
A security guard?
His eldest son, Michael Afton, who we believe ran away from home that night in the Midnight Motorist minigame. He is on a mission to free the souls of his siblings and the other children that his father has killed. So he becomes security guards at these places. And so when he is a security guard at Circus Baby's Pizza World, while it's closed down after killing Elizabeth but still open as a rental service, he gets scooped.
He got
now,
scooped?
what does this mean? No, what does this mean? So you see their bodies and everything over in the corner. On the inside, there's still that animatronic endoskeleton. So the scooper just takes that out aggressively so it can get cleaned and stuff and then put back in the suit.
Wow.
But if you do that on a human, it's just gonna kill them. It's gonna rip out their guts.
Yeah, it's just gonna take out all of their insides. And make them outsides.
Exactly, those need to stay on the inside. So, Michael gets scooped, and it's terrible. And so Ennard is this guy.
Who is Ennard?
That's Ennard. Say hello before we continue.
Who is Ennard?
Yeah. Ennard is made up of all the innards of all of the Funtime animatronics. And so they all, after the reason why Michael gets scooped is because they want to go inside of Michael and use him as a vessel to run around.
They turn him into a skin puppet?
Yep. And look, he's purple just like his dad.
Wow.
The apple does not fall far from the tree.
Like father, like son.
Exactly. Like looking in a mirror. And so they're walking around with him. And eventually, he throws them up. They're in a sewer somewhere. They're on a mission. They're gone.
They're gone.
But Michael still lives after this somehow, for a good amount of time. And what does he do in this time? He goes and works at the other places. Wow. He goes and works at the he is the replacement night shift when Jeremy Fitzgerald in the second game goes towards day shift. Michael comes in as the new night manager. And he is the night manager throughout the entire Five Nights at Freddy's one game.
Wow.
And he gets fired at the end of everything, at the end of the sixth night, for tampering with the animatronics and odor.
Cause he's
tampering
stinky.
With the animatronics. Yeah, because he's trying to figure out the inner workings of everything, trying to find dead bodies, trying to free souls, and then odor. He is a walking corpse.
That wouldn't smell good.
Yeah. But guess what? Good old Henry sees how hard he's working and comes back. It was like, I gotta put a stop to this. How is William still out here after we thought he was long dead? We gotta put a stop to this. So here's what Henry does. He opens the restaurant that we see in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Simulator.
Wow.
And this restaurant is designed to fail. You want to make a restaurant that that just attracts the negative energy that was brought to the other restaurants. Because what Henry is trying to do is round up the rest of these souls and anyone who might still be out there possessing stuff so that he can put this all to rest.
Now, hold on. Are you trying to tell me that this is like some sort of animatronic mousetrap?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. And Michael signs up for this. He signs up and he's like, absolutely, this is what I want to do. This is my mission all along. And so Henry's like, all right, let's do this. And so, guess who shows up?
Baby?
Yeah, Circus Baby, who is now Scrap Baby, shows up. Which is interesting, because last time we saw the Fun Times, they were together as Ennard. They were together as Ennard. But now it seems like they are two separate entities. So everyone's together, all the other Fun Times are together as this mess of spaghetti noodles over here. But Baby's by herself. She decided to go out and be on her own, or she got kicked out. We don't know.
Wow.
So both of these end up in the alleyway. And you can be like, yeah, let's add them to our fake restaurant. No harm can be done. So you can find those in the alleyway. But guess who else you can find in the alleyway? You will never guess who else you can find in the alleyway.
I can't think of anything.
William Afton.
William Afton?
He's there. He's as biodegraded as possible. But he still stumbled his way over to you. Because he's like, ain't no way I'm letting my ex-business partner and my eldest son party without me. So he showed up. And he's here. He's ready to party in the alleyway. Now, someone else... Oh, my apologies. I'm getting ahead of myself. So things either show up in the alleyway, or you can buy things from within the store. There's a liability risk on some of them, as you can see on Ned Bear. It's very low, because this was just created as something to just throw into this fake restaurant.
Yeah, good old
Not
Ned
intended
Bear.
to work.
Never heard a soul.
Good old Ned Bear. Yeah. Another thing you can buy is Lefty. And as you can see, this is a higher liability risk. So it makes...
But look at it, it's $5.
Yeah. So it's like, obviously you want to buy it. It's a rare find and it's $5. It's in very good condition, but it has a big liability risk. And the thing about Lefty is you can also find him in the alleyway if you do not buy him from the store. Now, let's look at this here. This is a blueprint from Fazbear Entertainment Incorporated, explaining what Lefty is. Lefty stands for Lure, Encapsulate, Fuse, Transport, and Extract. Now, what does this mean? We can see that it uses a lullaby to lure something in. Now, what else used a lullaby to keep at bay?
What?
The puppet in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the prequel. And who is in the puppet?
Who?
Charlotte Emily, as we know. So this is designed to get Charlotte back and in a nice little cozy suit to keep her safe and hopefully get her soul out of there.
Oh, and you know what I'm just noticing? You know what I'm just noticing? If you look at Lefty's arm in the picture in the middle, it looks like it might have worked.
You know what? I think so too. I think so too. So the puppet was out there, but the puppet's back. And Henry wants to save Charlotte's soul before it's too late, which is why he made Lefty and didn't just hope that the puppet showed up. Now, I want you to keep this image in your mind. This is what the restaurant that Henry made looks like. You can customize, you can put in different animatronics, you can put in different video games on the side, but this is in general what every restaurant will look like no matter how you play it.
Okay, I've memorized the layout.
They set that restaurant on fire after they get everyone in there.
Wow.
They set it on fire to get rid of everybody. So, William is dead.
Finally.
Kinda.
What?
He is not fully dead. And here's the thing. You remember Cassidy?
Yes.
Who's also in the Golden Freddy suit with the crying child?
Yes.
She thinks that William Afton is terrible and deserves a fate worse than death. This is why she is referred to, even though he shouldn't have killed any of the kids, she is referred to as the one he should not have killed, because she wants to keep him in an eternal heck. Okay? Now we need to get into the specifics. Okay?
Okay.
We're gonna get into some definitions. We have remnant.
What is remnant?
Now, remnant is a soul that can possess things. It can attach to inanimate objects. And so remnant is what is how the animatronics have gotten possessed. I'll be using this image when talking about remnant because this is what it looks like in the AR app. You're collecting
the widely
remnant.
popular and beloved AR app that everyone loves.
Everyone knows it. It's the most popular game.
Exactly.
Where you make your own animatronics and you need this positive remnant to get them going. So, this game was very important to the lore. And the scooper, going back to that, has the remnant reservoir. My bad. And as you can see at the bottom, this is Afton Robotics and not Fazbear Entertainment. So this was all Afton, who was doing experiments on how these animatronics were possessed. So he knew about remnant and was trying to figure out the best way to get it out and put it in objects. And as we can see here, I'll just read it to you. When heated, no observed motion. Keep in heated tank. Substance should be malleable but not more. There's a possibility that overheating might neutralize the effects of remnant.
So
which is why
burn them.
Yes. Which is why they set the place on fire. And so, what does this have to do with good old William? How is he still alive? There's also Agony.
Wow.
Okay? There's Agony. Now, in this book, where we can get some of the information from, I won't read the entire passage, but if someone dies in a traumatic way, that negative emotion and all that trauma can also attach to something like remnant, but in a more negative way, so that people are more aggressive, or more unstable, more powerful. And so, in the happiest day ending, we see that the souls are put to rest. So the remnants is gone. The animatronics, they're free, the children are free, but they were also killed in a very traumatic way by this yellow bunny. And even though their souls are gone, that negative feeling is still there and attached to the animatronic. So their souls are free, but that trauma is still there attached to these inanimate objects. So that's how they're still running around doing what they're doing. And so that is what William Afton is kind of powered by. He was also, it's probably traumatic for him to be chased by these spirits into the suit and killed that way after he thought he won.
In a very slow and painful, agonizing death.
Exactly. So he is widely powered by agony. So that's how he's still able to be alive. Now, here's where it gets crazy. It is thought to believe that Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2, 3, and 4 are made by this crazy indie game developer within the lore.
What?
And Fazbear Entertainment's not happy, so they take matters into their own hands, but are they really not happy? Because if you find hidden tapes within this game I'm about to get into, it says that Fazbear Entertainment actually hired this developer to make light of the situations that happened. And within this Five Nights at Freddy's book, it talks about, my apologies, it talks about this developer's process of going insane making these games and how he doesn't really know too much about it. And so we'll get into the implications of that later, towards the end of this PowerPoint.
Surely every Five Nights at Freddy's fan is gonna love those implications.
They're really happy about it, let me tell you. I was looking on Twitter, and they were like, wow, I'm really happy MatPat said this. But anyway, so let's get back to what Fazbear Entertainment themselves did with their name on it in retaliation to these indie games that they may or may not have also helped with. So they make their own game called Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. And within that game, there is a glitch that looks like this.
That looks like that's a very specifically shaped glitch.
Exactly. Because it's William in code form.
They turned him into an AI?
Here. He's still here, even after Henry set him on fire. He's still here. Now, within the AR game, going back to that popular one we talked about, Special Delivery, we see emails between Ness and this guy, Lewis, and so Ness is like a developer in the Help Wanted game, and Lewis is just like, hey, I'm a bit concerned, you're searching about flowers and cupcakes and stuff, and then you're searching how far can a human body be cut in half before they lose consciousness. That's kind of scary.
That's not something a normal person looks up.
Exactly. So, what is thought is that William is mind-washing, controlling everything the developers who made this game through being a glitch. So, this brings us to Five Nights at Freddy's security breach. Guess who that lady is? Vanessa.
That has Ness
just
in
like
it.
in the emails. Ness. And she is also, as we find out throughout the game, this bunny named Vanny.
What? Vanny is also Vanessa? I never would have guessed.
As Glamrock Freddy points out, Vanny and Bunny, Vanessa, Bunny, Vanny.
Wow.
Pretty clever. Now, what I will say is that more than anything I've shown you before, this is a mashup of theories that I personally believe that are worth mentioning, but it's not 100% what the game is saying or anything. There's not a whole lot of agreed upon stuff because this game is still less than a year old. Like, it's still a little baby running around. So, we don't know fully about it, but I'll still get into some of it. So we're in the Pizzaplex. We are so far into the future. Look how futuristic this is. It's crazy.
I want to go there.
I know. There's this guy named Gregory. This is not to scale. He's not that big.
What?
There's this kid named Gregory. And there's this Glamrock Freddy. We play as Gregory. And Gregory is in the Pizzaplex after hours. And Freddy's like, Gregory, there's people going missing. There's secrets here in the complex that I don't really know much about. Gregory's like, okay, cool. Let's just figure all that out and not question why I wanted to stay here after hours, where my family's at. Like, let's not talk about me. Let's talk about the secrets that are here. And so that's what we do. And then we meet the other cast of animatronics. They're not believed to be possessed by anything. Vanessa's really the only thing that this has got going, because these animatronics just have a very set dialogue. Like, they don't do much except for say these things. It gets really annoying.
That does sound like it would get annoying.
Yeah. So we don't believe there's anything specifically going on.
My lights. Oh god, Freddy's here. My lights just turned off.
My power's good down here.
No, my lights have been doing that.
He's here. He heard me talking about him.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go fix that.
Okay, I'm scared.
Okay, I turned my lights back on. Freddy's gone.
Thank goodness. So scary. Okay, so let's get back into it. So guess what?
What?
So we start off with Freddy. The game starts with everyone going out on stage. We see Freddy looking around where everything's fine, and we can see all this stuff on the side of him. He looks like he is a computer. We can see that he's in show mode. He has different modes, different settings. He has this coding on the side. He looks more computer-based than the other animatronics that were more just moving robots.
Like mechanical.
Press the button. Yeah, their arms would move and that's all. But the thing is, William Afton in himself is a virus, a code virus that breaks everything down. So Freddy completely shuts down, he blacks out on stage, he's tweaking, and then he falls down. And that's when Gregory crawls into his chest, and then we see that he is turned on in safe mode, which basically essentially means only the important things for running is turned back on once he's back on. So all the unnecessary stuff that William might be attached to does not go back into effect after Freddy wakes up, because he is in safe mode instead of show mode like the other animatronic stuff.
Well, that sounds great.
It is great. So we get a bunch of different possible endings to this game. We get Gregory leaving, and then we see that he just lives in an alleyway, and we see that there are many missing residents from this newspaper. And we see Vanny approaching, but we don't see what happens. So that's one of the endings. Another one is where Vanny's about to kill Gregory, and then Glamrock Freddy jumps in and was like, no, and pushes Vanny away, reveals that it's Vanessa, but also Vanessa, I know, but Vanessa is also still in the burning building. So this can be like symbolic. I know. This could just be like symbolic of that side of her is burning away along with the Pizzaplex, or somehow there were two of them. We don't know.
So we don't know if it's literal or a metaphor.
No. And I'm confused. I'm just telling you what the endings are. And then there's one where Vanessa fully attacks. Glamrock Freddy is really sad, and he gets torn apart, and he dies.
No, not Freddy.
I know. Then there's another one where you can free Vanessa, you can get some of Glamrock Freddy out, and you all go out for ice cream. That's great.
Wow.
And there's another one.
Well, the ice cream in that picture looks really good.
Yeah. And then there's another one where you and Glamrock Freddy just go on a cool little van vacation. You're driving around.
I want to go on a van vacation with Freddy.
Let's do it. But guess what? There's another ending.
What? There is?
What does this remind you of?
Well, hold on. I'm thinking. You told me to remember that!
I told you to put a mental image in the back of your head. It's time to bring it to the front of your head once more. Because this looks eerily similar to the location that Henry built to burn all the other animatronics. This is under the Pizzaplex. They built the Pizzaplex on top of this location and just kept it there for some reason. And under this, there is what seems to be where Vanessa has been staying. And so it's like a very gross place under this location. And we find this thing. It's scary. We call it the blob.
That is scary.
We call it the blob. And it comes after you within this minigame, but we can see all these familiar faces in it. We can see Circus Baby, Funtime Freddy, is it Funtime Mangle? I don't know what it's actually called.
I think that's just Mangle.
Oh yeah, it's just Mangle. And then the Marionette. But what? Because last time we saw a baby, it wasn't Circus Baby. It was Scrap Baby.
It was Scrap Baby.
She had a new look. She was punk. She didn't look like that. And then, what about Funtime Freddy?
He was orange.
He was orange. He looked like that. And the Marionette? The marionette had tears. Why isn't the marionette crying anymore? Why are their eyes not glowing, but their eyes glowing? Let me tell you. There are so many question marks here, but let me explain it to you. Throughout the Pizza Place, we see some of the authentic stuff. Like here we see Freddy's or Foxy's, someone's jawbone from the original animatronic. So there's lots of original things from the old restaurants put on display.
Like a museum, a Freddy museum.
Yeah. But as you can see from this very helpful red arrow, some things are missing.
Oh no.
Some things are not here. Why is that? Why would they have these full cases if they didn't have all of the stuff? Well, as we're led to believe, like they could have gotten this stuff from, like, Michael throwing up. That was in the stuff. Like, you know, Michael threw up Ennard. We know that. So, this brings us back to Five Nights at Freddy's 6. And the coolest monologue delivered ever.
The greatest ending to any video game ever? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Not just any video game. I'd put it, this is the best ending to anything. Movie.
To any
book,
story.
Anything. This is the most fantastic thing. I'd play it for you right now, but we simply don't have the time.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 minutes long.
And I don't want to do that to you right now. You need to just experience that for yourself. You need to sit back after this presentation and you have all the backstory. You need to sit down and listen to it. Because you'll feel it. It'll get your heart racing. But Scrap Baby starts saying stuff like, did you think that this job just fell into your hands? No, this is for us. We're here to reap our benefits of, you know, being tortured and having our souls live on forever. I'm going to make my dad proud by doing what he wanted me to do, be a powerful being within this animatronic. But then Henry cuts her off and says, sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, confirming that Elizabeth Afton is within Scrap Baby, who was Circus Baby. And he's like, if you still even remember that name, even misinformed,
you're not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual assumed, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here to a labyrinth
hold on. Oh, no, hold on.
Okay.
I don't have that in my PowerPoint. They have been called.
They have been called.
They've been called. And so he directly addresses Elizabeth, which is why I included this excerpt from his monologue. His fantastic monologue that can never be beat. He directly talks to Elizabeth, who we now know is possessing Circus Baby. And he also addresses his daughter, Charlotte, saying, if you can hear me, I know you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day you were shut out like this, that you were left to die. No one was there to lift you in your arms, so you lifted into others, referring how she protected everyone else around her. So she was in Lefty that also burned. So she was also directly addressed by Henry during this time in this monologue. Now they both had lots of agony still attached to them. So even though the remnant was burned in the fire, the agony could still be there. But we are assuming through this direct words to them that they could have been put to ease by the words of Henry through this monologue, and their agony faded. So that's why their eyes could be out, because in the bad ending, where the spirits were not lifted, these eyes on the mask were still burning bright. But in the good ending, when the spirits were lifted, the lights were gone. So this can be the reason why. So this blob is still full of all this agony from all these other things that didn't have this moment of just being recognized and saying you can let go, it's okay. This blob is so full of that.
So you're trying to tell me that it's not actually possessed by a person, but a collective feeling?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you.
Wow.
And it is so powerful in that way. And so Vanessa, who's been mind-washed, manipulated, she is continuing to feed all of these artifacts filled with agony onto this blob. Why is she doing that? Because William Afton is still here. Why would he want to be put back into a physical form when he was so powerful as a virus, taking people down? Like, look at him. He's fallen apart. There's barely anything there.
He looks like my grandpa.
Why would you disrespect our grandfather like that? Our grandfather looks nothing like this. I'm gonna tell him you said that on Thanksgiving. No. I'm gonna pull up this picture. I'm gonna say this you.
No.
But anyway, in this ending, we see the blob lift up this fallen apart Afton and put him into the blob. He gets immersed in it. And the thing is, that's filled with all this agony, right? And if you add this fully like functional virus to it, and everything that William has come to possess throughout his time of being, a ghost and a murderer, you add him to this pile of agony that can already move by itself and be so powerful, they're gonna be unstoppable together. So this was William's intention for being back in a physical form so that he could be put into the blob.
Now hold on a second.
All right. We'll look at this pretty picture while you ask this question.
That reminds me of something that was in the books. Something that I don't see a lot of people talk about a lot. Now, in one of the Phasma Frights books, at the end of every book, the books are composed of 3 stories, plus a bonus story at the end. And all the bonus stories at the end are connected, you know this. But at the end of one of them, one of the 3 main stories had a person, a shriveled up body that refused to die, that was very obviously meant to be William Afton, right? And then in one of the later books, in the bonus story that's all connected, that body, exploded. All the goo exploded and went into this huge mass of animatronic parts, becoming a giant rabbit-like shape. Are you trying to tell me something like that is happening in the games now too?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. And if you think that's far-fetched, if you think that aspect of the books coming into the games is far-fetched, you will not like the theories I'm about to tell you in a bit. But that's exactly what I'm telling you.
That's crazy.
So after this ending, it is presumed that Glamrock Freddy gets Gregory out of the building before it completely falls apart due to the blob absorbing Mr. Afton. But the thing is, when they went down there, Freddy was like, if you really want to do this, it looks like this janky elevator, only it has one trip. It can go down, that's it. It's not going to be able to go back up. And also, they go down this really, really long, windy tunnel, lots of stairs. It took a long time for them to get down there. The elevator's broken, and that was their only exit. So, how could they get out onto this hill and be looking at the sunset? Well, take a look at this hill with all these dead bodies. Maybe this is just saying they are at peace. They died, they're at peace because they discovered what was going on,
And they
So they could
stopped
be
it.
dead.
Well, so they think. They stopped it, so they think, right?
Yeah, yeah, because the building was falling down. So maybe they're at peace. This hill kind of looks like with the tree and everything, kind of looks like these graves from a past game, which lists the names of some of William's victims. But here's the thing. There's so much unanswered stuff. Like, who is this kid?
He's
Some
Gregory.
believe, well, some believe he might be. Like, where's his family? Who is his family? What's going on? Some believe this man is the crying child.
But how is that possible?
Like Matt Pet said, look at the hair. Look at the shirt.
It's the same
see-
hair and shirt.
We see the similarities. He's wearing shorts. It's uncanny.
Shorts, a striped t-shirt, and brown hair? Oh my god.
Now look at this next thing. We were just talking about the books being crazy. In the books, there are robot children with remnant in them. Some believe that Gregory is a robot, with the crying child's remnant still inside.
Oh my god.
Yeah. There's also questions about who is this Vanessa? What's going on?
Oh, she's the
We know
security guard.
yeah, we know she's Danny. And but she was also a tech developer on the game and she got brainwashed. How did she become a security guard? She was a tech developer. We know that through doing all the Princess Quest games, which we don't know too much about, which is why it wasn't in my presentation, but completing them is how you get the ending that frees Vanessa and she's on the hill with you.
Well, actually, about the Princess Quest minigames, if you look at the code, you can see that the sprite for the princess is actually named Cassidy. But that's all we have to go on about that.
Yeah, so there's that too. But what does Cassidy have to do with Vanessa? It leads to more questions. And people also might assume that because this blonde chick is blonde, that it might be Vanessa, and going through this game is Vanessa's story, but we kind of know this to believe, we kind of believe that this is the child to possess Chica. So we'll just ignore that for now. We're gonna ignore the people saying that's Vanessa. It's not Vanessa.
And look,
They're also,
hold on, look, she has blue eyes and Vanessa has green eyes.
yeah,
And
exactly.
eye color is very important in Five Nights at Freddy's.
So important. It really is. And listen, there are these tapes.
Oh, tell me about
I've
the
heard-
tapes.
I wish I could tell you about these tapes. I don't understand them. They make me go, huh? I don't get it. Some of them are Vanessa talking. Some of them someone who isn't talking. It doesn't make any sense. But here's the thing. There's gonna be a free DLC coming out. That's gonna give
Free
us so
DLC?
much more. Yeah, it's gonna give us so much more information on this game. Or it'll just make us more confused. But here's the thing. All of this is speculation. In Five Nights at Freddy's 4, at the end there's this chest. And the creator of this game said it was fully intended to be opened. But then he realized that this would reveal so much information that would go against what this community has worked so hard to come together to figure out and believe, and would really throw everything out the window, and just he wouldn't know if the community would accept it and if they would turn on this game that brought us all together. So this chest remains closed, which means that everything I told you could have been a lie, could have not been true. And this goes along with the fact that the first 4 games were made within the mind of a video game developer who was losing his mind and was going off of allegations and speculation of crimes from the past that he might not have looked into all that much. Because he was just getting paid to make these games by a money-hungry corporation who was breathing down his neck and also causing him to have nightmares, hallucinations, and everything. So, everything I told you today could be completely false, which I do not want to believe, so we're gonna keep this chest closed.
We are going to keep this chest closed.
And that's the end of my presentation so far.
That was amazing. Thank you. You really helped me to understand the whole lore and everything about the Five Nights at Freddy's series.
You know what? I'm glad I could help you out. I'm really happy I helped you out on this. Because I have so much knowledge in my brain. It is not fair to keep it to myself.
True,
I have to let you know, because obviously you didn't know nothing about Five Nights at Freddy's.
This is the first time I've ever heard about Five Nights at Freddy's.
I had to let your dedicated audience know. And every time I meet someone, I'm like, what do you know about Five Nights at Freddy's? Let me tell you something. And I pull out this presentation. At parties, I pull out my phone. I'm like, so here's what's going on. And they care so much.
I'm sure they would.
I am like a mouthpiece for this. And I think that I should be invited to the premiere when the movie drops.
We should both be invited to the premiere.
Yeah.
Because you are obviously the biggest voice in the Five Nights at Freddy's community.
There's no one bigger than me.
No one knows this lore better than you.
No. I came up with all of this myself.
That's true. I can confirm. I watched her do it.
Who is Matt Pat other than the guy who got pregnant by Springtrap? Who is Rytos? I don't know these people. I only know me. The collector of all these theories. I thought of them myself. Just kidding. They're linked in the description.
Don't make me find all the videos. Don't make me find all of them.
The channels. Matt Pat's linked in the description and Rytos. Go subscribe.
I'm sure the people watching this video know who Matt Pat is.
We still gotta give credit.
That's true. Credit is important. Because
here's the thing. As much as I love this lore, I was sitting in the middle school cafeteria playing Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and I could not get past the first night. I'd get scared and I'd throw my phone across the cafeteria.
I remember I was at my friend's house playing Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And I had the camera up, right? And I heard the moaning and groaning. I knew that meant as soon as I put that camera down that someone was gonna kill me. So what I did is I hid under the desk as I lowered the camera.
Exactly.
With those, I have never beat a Five Nights at Freddy's game.
Exactly. So with that being said, there's no way we could collect this lore by ourselves. We are just avid viewers of any lore video that comes our way.
You know, I even own Security Breach. Have not beat it.
No way you own it. That's crazy. It runs on your computer?
It didn't. When I first bought it, it didn't. But there have been a lot of updates that helped with that. But
yeah,
I have not played the game since those updates.
Well, there we go.
I've stopped playing the game before a lot of those updates, so maybe I should go back to it before the DLC. Who knows? I was I stopped right before the DJ Music Man section, which is the best part of the game. I don't know why I stopped.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for being here.
Of course.
I'm glad I could share this information and not keep it to myself.
Like I said, I didn't know what Five Nights at Freddy was until you called me right now.
So, you're welcome.
I hope that we informed everyone else about what Five Nights at Freddy's is.
Yeah. You want some more thumbnail shots?
Wow, that's crazy. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's awesome.